Hello, everybody. A few people have been asking about how to do a horrific vision, and I wanted to go over a few things so you can understand what is happening, how to prepare for things, and how to get ready. Right now, I'm getting my food buff. I try to get all the buffs I can. I got a food buff. I got the rune that you can get from boat missions. I also have a few scrolls that I use. Those get my bonuses. I also have a couple other runes that you can buy, and I'll go over the other setups also. So I want to really let you know that looking at my gear, I'm at 460. So I will try to take it back and dial it back from someone who may only have 440 gear or less. So when we go in and I'm actually clearing mobs, you're going to see that I'm going to clear them pretty quickly compared to what you're doing. I'm also going to have one mask active. Also like to say that my cloak is at rank 15. I've also added an additional corruption resistance. And while you're building your gear, keep in mind that you want to keep your total corruption at 0. And that's going to allow for less nuances that are happening while you're going through. I do have items that do have corruption. As you can see, when I equip that, there's amount of versatility that I gain from all sources, but it also adds 10 corruption. But that information down in the purple, that's additional DPS that you can be having. So I don't remove corruption unless it really requires me to. This is my highest item right now. I haven't done any rating on this tune to get any of these pieces. So these are all things that you can get and build up as you move your way through. Of course, my Heart of Azeroth. I do have the Breath of Dying, and that's going to give me a corruption resistance that's going to add to the amount of items that I can have. I also recommend that you use the purification protocol that you get from Mechagon, and once you get to Revered, you can get it all the way to rank 3. Rank 4 is not necessarily needed, it's just a MOG change. It just looks cooler, but I would go all the way up. And as you can notice, I've got quite a few 4s. And really, when you get to 3, that's the max. There's no additional DPS. But you'll see that when using the purification protocol, it can one-shot some of the elites and some of the bosses, depending on the instances. So that's one of my suggestions, is to have the purification protocol. I have that in my toolbar there, so I can access it, and to have some kind of corruption resistance on one of your essences. Now, they don't stack either. You're only going to get 10 max. So even if you use the other one, I have two that give me 10 corruption resistance, and if I activated them both, I'm only going to get 10 max. So keep that in mind. And as you're gating your corrupted mementos, so there's two types of visions that 8.3 have brought. There's a horrific vision, and then there's a regular vision. What we're about to do, what's in the heart, the chamber of heart, is a horrific vision. And you need to have vessels, this vessel of horrific visions, and you got to buy that from, you may not be able to see him here, the Black Prince right here. So this is where you go in here and you buy the vessels, and you'll be able to do more visions. So the way that you get those corrupted mementos is a few ways. Is by doing more horrific visions. You're going to get them inside certain things, and I'll show you a few things that can add to that. Or you can do a regular vision. And so this week it is Orgrimmar. So you have Orgrimmar, and then next week when the reset happens, it's going to be Stormwind. So while that's happening, as you can see that this area, here's the raid instance as far as Throne of the Four Winds, and that one's not important. What I want to go over is the raid entrance for uh, 8.3 content. And it's something that is very important to understand when you're trying to figure out what's active and how are things happening. So you can see this purple zone right here, and everything in 8.3 has a purple type of theme to it. It's they did a pretty good job. As you can see, that purple outline right there shows where the corruption is happening. Next week, it's going to move over to this area over here. So as you can see, the raid entrance is within that corruption. So that means they have the regular vision. So you're going to go to this area, do a regular vision, and you get a significant amount of corrupted mementos. They have chests in there and whatnot for you to get. What's cool is on the other side, where the zone is in the other area, that's where you have the zone boss. So next week, the zone boss will be over on the other side, while this side and over this side of Uldum will be the side that's corrupted. And then this side will have the horrific vision, or the regular vision that you can do, and then the other zone will have, this zone will have um, uh, just the opposite. We'll have the zone boss. So keep that in mind. So that way you can plan out where to go and get things. Things have changed since 8.3 has happened. So if you do need to remove corrupted items, you just, speak to Mother here, and you can just drag these items in there and pay that. But, I try to keep mine at 0, so I don't have that nuances. But I do have 3 items because that's free DPS. Okay, so the Mother's Tree. As you're going through each week and doing as much as you can, you want to build up this tree. So important things on this tree. First is this emergency cranial defibrillarization. So when I die, I'm going to come back, whether it's I run out of sanity or I just die. I'm going to come back with full health and get 500 sanity, which is great. Now on the other side, you have the first revival. So if you're in there with 2 people, and you can go up to with 3 people, and I would suggest that you all at the same, configuration, i.e. tree, your cloak, and everything, because you're all going to share sanity. And while you're inside there, you can see the sanity bars. So if I were to go in with someone who's just brand new, doesn't have anything done, they're going to drain sanity really quick. And I'm going to go through why that happens. But when they reset their sanity, it also it uses one of my resets. So keep that in mind when you're going in. You have to plan your resets. So as you go in and start building up this tree more, you're going to get more sanity. You're going to get the option to have that. Here you're going to get more treasure chests. This right here, I love this. Once you this is the biggest turning point right here, is when you're clearing out those elites and you're getting that extra sanity. Down here, you're going to have more bonuses, and then this right here, that's the Mother. That's when you're going to really start really seeing a difference when you're doing clears. Okay, so that's pretty much everything that you need to pay attention to. And then once you have all that clear, obviously you're going to start using your corrupted mementos, and you're going to start buying these slots right here where you can add slots. And that's what I did to this bracer right here. As you can see, I put a gem in there, so that way I added a slot. So keep that in mind. So when we get inside there, I'm going to go over a few things also. So it is an instance. Once you get inside there, you can move around. But do pay attention to what's happening, all right? So when you click on Raytheon there, make sure that you look at the map. You can see all of your objectives and see what you need to do. In the beginning, pretty much all you're going to be able to do is clear out the main boss. So go in, clear out the main boss, and come back out. It's really, clearing out more of the guys. Yeah, you're probably going to get more, but you know what? you really your objective is probably just going to be Thrall or Alaria on the other side when it's Stormwind. And then eventually you're going to start upgrading your cloak. So my cloak is at rank, it's max, but it's still going to get more corruption each week because I still get a quest to get more pages. And when you need to get these pages, you're going to find these in like different areas, whether it's a corrupted area, or it's a different, as you can see, these have like this is a lost area. This is just a regular corrupted area. This is a lost area. So these two areas back here are the ones that are going to be a lot tougher. As you can see, 12 sanity drain per second as opposed to 8. And then over here, I'm only hitting 6. So you'll have a circle and a number telling you where you need to go to get those pages. Normally, it's going to be these two areas in the beginning, and then it's going to start pushing you out to the lost areas to get those upgrades because you should be stronger at that point. Once you get to rank 15, you're going to have to start clearing out these areas to be able to get those upgrades. Or actually, like rank 12, and obviously you need, a higher mother's tree. So once you do a full clear, then you can start gaining mass, and that's what these over here, these pedestals are. These add difficulty, so you can go on Wowhead and you can see what each one will actually do to you, and you can actually click on them. It's going to tell you, which one is, we're going to do Dark Imagination, and Dark Imagination is considered one of the easiest ones. And if I'm below 50 sanity, it's going to spawn an aberration every 1 to 2 minutes. And then it's going to keep me in combat until that guy is clear. So if I have that mask on, or if I'm in combat, then I'm not able to reset my sanity, which is right here at the bottom. So if you move over to the right where your debuff area is, you can see the faceless mask. It's going to tell you what's happening, what bonuses you're getting, what bonuses you're going to get. So keep that in mind. All right, so we're going to go inside. We got all of our bonuses happening. We got a Drums of Fury. Make sure that you have that, a couple of those ready. And I'm going to pull a lot because we're going to do a full clear so you can get an idea of what is happening in here. But if you're in the beginning, take it a few guys at a time. I'm pretty well geared, so you're going to see a pretty big fight here. Try not to get too close to these guys. They tend to knock me off my mount. So I'm going to pull all these guys and go into this room over here, and so that way I'll line of sight them inside. Of course, okay, when I use my cloak, I'm going to put this down, and then I'm going to use my purification protocol. So as you're like I was saying before, you see this blue ring that's circling right there? That's called Promised Power. And that's going to give you the biggest DPS boost that you're going to see inside here. So if you see that, and after you leave, you get the denied power. That means you're going to do reduced damage. But as you can see, I cleared the entire thing, and I've got full sanity. So isn't that beautiful? So once I've cleared these 2 guards, I can go inside and go after Thrall. But I'm going to pass because I'm going to pull more, and you'll notice that there's a treasure chest on the ground there, and that comes from Mother's Tree. And when you do more research, you'll get those chests will start showing up. And there's my Promised Power. There's that blue thing I was telling you about. Gives me increased damage. I can get these treasure chests. Look at that, 50 corrupted mementos inside there. Beautiful. So I'm going to go up here. This is kind of the process that I do when I do a full clear. So it's exciting. I'm going to pull this elite over here because when I clear him, I'm going to get a nice little bonus as far as it's going to give me a sanity, 200 sanity. I showed you that on the mother's tree. So get him up, and then depending on each week, the debuffs will depend on what is happening for that particular one. You'll notice on maybe some bugs that start appearing on your screen. Those bugs, start appearing on you. Is what it is what's happening. And what you're going to do is you're going to start jumping. So it's probably going to happen when we go over to the drag. Don't stand in anything purple. That's not good. That usually means that they're draining your sanity of some kind. So while you're going through, please pay attention to anything that's purple, because it's not good. It's probably going to drain your sanity. See that purple swirl? Move my way out of that, because I don't want it to drain my sanity. But I have a pretty good set amounts. So what we want to do, these little amounts here, that's what this week's is. You got this guy following me. It's actually me. If he touches me, I get stunned. So I prefer that one than the bugs, because the bugs, you jump up and down. That one you can run away from, depending on how close or far away he is and where you're at. I wish we could have that in like Stormwind. That would be great. But all depends on what they decided. It's all random. So, see how I just got stunned there? He touched me. See how that one was annihilated from my purification protocol? All right. So this guy, I got to click this totem. So once you click all these totems, it makes that boss active. And as you can see, I got a pretty good amount of sanity. And as soon as I kill him, I'm going to be back at max. So he's going to silence me at a certain point. And what you need to do is you need to find the sanity orb that he throws down, and that removes that hopelessness that is silent. See how I'm silenced? That right there, you go to that orb and it removes the silence, and you don't want to get hit by those waves like I just did, but I was trying to run away from myself that was going to stun me. Lesser of two evils. So after he is done and killed, see I got 200 sanity there. Now Thrall has absorbed that particular boss bonus, so keep that in mind. He'll be able to do that hopelessness to me, that orb. So when he does that to me, you got to make sure, or when he does it to you, I don't know, I'll make sure. You're not going to make sure for me, I wish. But make sure that you find that orb. So see that blue circle right there spinning? That's promised power. That's increased DPS. So if you need it, you better grab it. I always do like to clear the whole path so I can make my way through. Alright, we're going to go to this lost area. This is the drag. And as you can see, I'm doing pretty good at non-sanity drain, and that's just because of my setup. You're not going to see this. Alright, so this guy, he's going to throw down that purple swirl. You don't want to go in there. That's going to drain like 4 sanity. Same thing with this dark force. As you can see, I try to keep the back to my wall because eventually he's going to push you back. Alright, this group right here, make sure you pay attention to this Dominator guy, because he tends to do that touch of abyss, and if you see it pop off, make sure you interrupt it. So don't stand in that, well, it's not a purple swirl. I guess it is a little bit, but you don't want to stand in that swirl. Okay, so I didn't see where that guy was, which is okay. If he stuns me, I can use my unstun. Still have that active. Oh, there was no Dominator in that one. So it's the next mob. So I try to bring the Dominator over to me and clear him first. I make sure I target him first, and I'm paying attention to the ground too, because that guy does this mindless creature, or the faceless creature does that purple swirl right there. Okay, so once I've cleared all the way to the boss, now I'm going to start the boss event, because the boss is not active right now. You got to go all the way back here and talk to the guy that's on the ground, Galerin. So, talk to her. Does her little thing. Sometimes you can go in there. Sometimes there's a boss act, or there's a bonus dude you can kill in there. Destroy that. Now, when we check this leatherworking, the cloth goods, there's a guy in the back. He's gone mad. You got to kill him. Another thing to keep in mind while you're doing these clears, you're going to see these potions that are sitting on the ground. They do different bonuses. This is a red one. Let's see what it does. So don't drink the red one this week, because you're going to lose 20 sanity. Alright, so we're going to continue. We got to clear all these places and make sure there's no bad guys in there. I'm not too worried about my sanity, because once I kill this boss, I think I'm going to one-shot him with the sanity protocol, or the purification protocol. Get my Black Empire chest. Had quite a few in there, which is great. Okay, so let's take this guy out. I shouldn't have used that. That's right. He'll be ready for Thrall. So interrupt that or break my stun. So I did not get... So now that I've killed that boss for this area, Thrall now has that ability. Alright, so we're going to go to the next area. We got to pay attention to Leadenfoot. Alright, so we got another elite. We can get our more sanity back, because we're going to kill this guy pretty quickly. There's actually another elite across the bridge. Don't want to stand in that purple. That drains sanity. But it's alright, we have plenty. We only needed 124 sanity. Now we're at max. Alright, we're going to clear this group. Hopefully we'll get some annihilations, which is one-shotting. Now if you're using the DK and you have that little link right there, you want to make sure that between your companion there, you want to make sure that you're having that beam hit whatever mob you are, because that's some pretty serious DPS. I usually don't clear these guys unless there's treasure chests, and I wanted to show you that there are treasure chests around, and I'm a little greedy, and I don't really need this because I've already done a full clear 5 mass in Orgrimmar. So, and this is only 1 mask, so it's pretty simple. And considering that I'm going to be at max, I'm probably not even going to be able to use all of the sanity I'm going to get from that elite over there. I like to walk across the water, or wade through the water, and I'm going to show you why. Because, see those corpses, that monk? Those dead monks, when you go across them, it's going to spawn some crappy stuff, and it's going to ooh, hate that, sorry. Broke my train of thought. So, I'll show you as I walk past them. It's going to spawn like these scarabs. See how those scarabs popped up? So when you go across those in this area, do keep that in mind, that's happening. So you want to avoid those dead bodies. Got to pay attention to where you're walking. See, there's a couple here. So we're going to need a scarab. This guy shouldn't last too long. Alright. Use all my bonuses. Alright, so he's dead. I'm at my max sanity. Alright. something to keep in mind about these bone crushers. Make sure you're up above them because he does that stupid little headbutt that's annoying. And you don't want to be pushed out of bounds, and you don't want to be pushed down the hill because that's going to, take your time. Get pushed uphill, you don't get pushed as far. So that's why I try to be uphill of that head, but you don't get pushed very far. All right, Rexar. He's kind of a pain in the butt. Don't stand in those swirls, obviously. These little boars are going to come over. I just ignore them. You want to focus on Rexar because, if you kill them, you kill them, which is fine. But focus on Rexar because, quite honestly, once you kill Rexar, everything else is just going to disappear. They're annoying because they do those little headbutts. Pay attention to where you're standing because there are going to be some purple things that pop up. All right, so that area is clear. We're at max sanity. We're going to go back to the main area, and I just realized we skipped the one area in the back. So we're going to go do that right quick, and then we'll go clear out Thrall. And we got plenty of time. We got plenty of sanity. So as you can see how Mother's Tree is very important. Now, when you get pushed over here and you have a companion, make sure you recall that companion because they don't get brought over, your pet companion. All right. So I'm going to clear out this guy. He has Forge Breath. Make sure that you don't stand in that Forge Breath or interrupt it because that's going to drain sanity too. Also, as you damage him, he's got this little debuff, so he may heal himself. So keep that in mind when you're fighting him. But as you can see, I'm up to 817 corrupted mementos, which is pretty cool. We're going to go back here and clear this area. Dark Delusions. Ooh, I'm scared. All right, so let's clear this guy out. He does do that purple swirl. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull quite a bit here. And we're going to pop our cloak because we're going to pull a lot. We're going to pull that mob, we're going to pull that mob, and we're going to pull that mob. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this. Line of sight them, cloak, everything. So this is what it looks like when you're clearing multiple mobs at once and you're geared. And you have your Mother's Tree active. So get that. All right, so we got a Dominator over here, and that's the one we want to clear first because he does that Touch of Abyss. And I usually don't clear the mob over to the right because there's two Dominators in there. And I will probably clear it if there's a chest, but there isn't. So I'm not going to bother with it. No reason to clear them unless there's a chest over there. But do realize that there's two Dominators there that do the Touch of Abyss. So the way that this is set up and how my dude is geared, I could easily take it, which is fine, but whatever. I don't need it as far as defeating the enemy to have the boss spawn. I'll get enough just based on who I'm clearing because there's still another elite that I'm going to be clearing. So for this guy, what I do is once I start seeing him casting, I run around him, and that really helps as far as that purple stuff. You don't want to stand in that. That's going to drain your sanity too. So I got about 100 sanity less, but I'm going to kill this elite. He's going to drain it a little bit too, just because he's nasty at it. And when you're fighting this guy, you don't want to be caught in a corner because it's just not fun. And if you have the Overlord with you, he's helpful. All right, so if you're a caster, this fight sucks. All right, so you see how that jump drains this, that right there, the howling in pain. You don't want to be casting anything when that howling in pain, because it will zone out that casting group. So keep that in mind if you're a caster. Still at max sanity. And after I kill this guy, I'm going to get max sanity again, and then go into thrall. So the defiled ground, you don't want to stand in that because it stuns you. So as you see that being casted, those purple swirls, you don't want to get in that. I try to be inside those circles because they're going to zone out, and you don't want to get hit by one of those circles because that will stun you. So keep that in mind. So Ring of Chaos, I like those. Ring of Chaos, that means I've got time before he does the corrupted ground. Alright, so that's all done. I'm going to click this orb and go back to that haystack and clear out Thrall. So all of those bosses that I just cleared, now Thrall has those abilities to do while we're fighting. So you need to keep that in mind. This is actually a really good week. I wish these were the debuffs that were happening in Stormwind. I still need to do a full clear 5 mass in Stormwind. That one's a whole lot tougher. Lots of sanity draining. You really got to watch where you're standing in Stormwind. This is definitely a lot easier than Stormwind, in my opinion. So, all right. So once we get inside here, the best thing to do, if you need it, is to click sanity, reset, and then start the fight. Because while you're standing inside that, you're still going to be, gaining. You see, I'm gaining sanity while I'm standing inside there. So really doesn't matter too much whatever he's doing to me. So right there, there's my promised power. So now I'm going to do increased DPS. He's going to do an ability. There's the hopelessness that he got from that boss over there. So I need to go find that orb. And then he's going to do the defiled ground. Make sure that you avoid that, because that is that surging darkness. You want to stand inside the clear area, and then it's going to switch to the outside area. Sometimes it's either the inside area or the other ones. So there's the ability you got from the drag. Defiled ground, step aside. There's my promised power. I've missed it. Now I need to remove my silence. Go back over to my promised power. Bring out some massive DPS on his ass. Of course, he stunned me. But I'm about to clear him, which is cool. So, defiled ground. Missed that. Boom. There we go. All is good. So that's pretty much the entire fight sequence for you to be able to do. As you can see, I got 1, 2. So that's clearing one area, the other area, the other area, the other area. So the drag. Over in Valley of Wisdom, Valley of Honor, and then I forget where the area is where the embassy is. And then clearing Thrall. Yay. So let's see what we got. So this is what happens once you've done a full clear. All you're going to get are corrupted mementos and maybe some cool little items like the contracts for your boat missions, which is that right there. And this is where you're going to get your items as far as any type of... so there's a companion that I got. This right here, that'll increase my cloak and additional resistance. And I got a 450 item, which is kind of low for me. If I do 5 mass, I'll get a 470 item, which I can do easily. So that's pretty much it. So I take this Maleficent core, add it to my cloak. Cloak is still at rank 15, but now I got 56 corruption resistance as opposed to 53. And that'll be helpful as far as getting more items. Now I can take another item that has 11 corruption and still be at 0, which is great because it's additional DPS. So hopefully that's helpful to you. You get a better idea of what to look for. I'll try to go next week, get one from Stormwind, because they usually have the worst debuffs and oh my goodness. Ugh. So we'll see how that goes. Hope this is helpful. You have a great day, and happy Mother's Day.